Hello, hello, hello. This is a bit surreal, obviously, coming back on deadline day just to let you guys know about everything that's going on. It's
Hello,
all
hello,
a
hello.
very, very, very exciting thing that is going to be happening around here on with 100% Chelsea. It's a very exciting day for all of us that have been here. It's been very, very busy as well. Lawrence is obviously joining me. You've been all over everything today, haven't you?
Yeah, I've tried. Well, first of all, glad to be on a stream of 100% Chelsea for the first time. And yeah, let's get this going. It's been a good day for us, hasn't it? It's been a good day.
Yes, it's not been too bad. I mean, re-signing David Luiz, that's going to be an interesting talking point because I think it's great we've signed him. We've got a centre half, but I'm still a bit sort of looking about why we sold him and see if he's actually developed there. But we'll come to that when we come to that. But obviously, Chelsea's transfer window, everything's not really going to plan again. We've left everything to the last minute. Almost like we're turning into Arsenal and then City are turning into what we want to wear in terms of expending power. But Lawrence, you've got a list of ins and outs, haven't you? So do you want to quickly just run through what's happened as almost a summary of this transfer window?
Yes, obviously, starting with signings, start from the beginning pretty much. First one, I think the first one we've officially signed was Batshuayi, wasn't he? I think we signed him before
Yeah,
Kante.
yeah, it was
Um,
that try.
so reportedly we signed him for a £33 million deal on a 5-year deal, and we signed him from Marseille, obviously from the Ligue 1. And we've seen him quite a few times already this season, and he's looking good. He's looking really good. Of course, he's really young, 22, I think. So there's still a lot of room for improvement for him, which is really good. And then obviously our biggest signing of the transfer window, well, the best player of our transfer window, in my opinion, anyway, is N'Golo Kante for a transfer fee of between 30 and 33 million pounds. Again, a 5-year deal from Leicester, the champions, obviously. And again, like with Batshuayi, we've seen him already. We've seen how good he is. So that is obviously top class. Then today, we've pulled off 2 signings. Who would have thought? First of all, Marcos Alonso, 25-year-old Spanish left-back from Fiorentina, for a fee between 23 and 24 million pounds on a 5-year deal. Again, from what I've gathered, I haven't seen a lot of him, if I'm honest. But he's, from the stats I've seen, he's an all-rounder as a fullback, decent defensively, decent attacking wise as well. I've just got some stats of him. In the 15-16 season in Serie A, he scored 3 goals, assisted 4 goals in 31 matches he played, and also got 8 yellow cards and no red cards, which is not too bad, I guess. Then obviously the big story of the day, as Louis mentioned before, is David Luiz, reported for a transfer fee of £32 million. We've just got it over the line just before the transfer window did eventually shut. Apparently it's a 3-year deal with an option for 1 more year after that. He's 29 now, so after those, if we take the option after those 4 years, he'd be 33. So yeah, I mean, I think we're going to talk about David Luiz more in depth in a bit, but yeah, not sure if all of you can see only me now, or if Louis is gone. I'm not quite sure what's going on right now. Anyway, I'm just going to continue. And another player that we have signed, player that we have signed is obviously Eduardo, a 33-year-old goalkeeper from Dynamo Zagreb, signed for an undisclosed fee on a 1-year deal. That is pretty much because we loaned out Jamal Blackman to Wycombe Wanderers in the League 2 on a 1-year loan deal. So that is pretty much the reason why we signed another goalkeeper, for experience. Not really sure why we needed that, if I'm completely honest. We've got Courtois, we've got Begovic, and I mean, obviously you need a third keeper, and you want Jamal Blackman to get playing time, but still, not quite sure why it had to be a 33-year-old Portuguese goalkeeper. Anyway, just to quickly run you through the players that we loaned out over the transfer window. Today, actually, we loaned out Juan Cuadrado back to Juventus on a, weirdly, 3-year loan deal, which is when his contract at Chelsea expires anyway. And according to Sky Sports, we're actually receiving £20 million for the loan. So pretty much we just sold him for £20 million. I don't know why they call it a loan deal, but yeah, that's it anyway. I think yesterday or 2 days ago, Robert Kennedy, he joined Watford on a season-long loan deal. Loic Remy, we loaned him out to Crystal Palace. Patrick Bamford joined Burnley on loan. All of those obviously for 1 year. I mentioned Jamal Blackman to Wycombe Wanderers already, and then Michael Actor, we loaned him out to Eintracht Frankfurt in the Bundesliga. Funnily enough, in his first 2 appearances, he actually got sent off in both games, first in the Cup and then in his Bundesliga debut. It's not like in England where you get suspended for both. If you get a red card in the Cup, you're suspended in the Cup, as far as I know, and in the league, you're suspended in the league. And then, obviously, one that we're all a bit questioning, I think, is Bertrand Traore when we loaned him out to Ajax. Obviously, we're probably going to talk about it a bit later, but in my opinion, we're a bit short in attacking options, strikers options. Another striker that we did loan out is Tammy Abraham for. We loaned him out to Bristol City, and he's been on fire. I think he scored pretty much in every game now. Assisted 1 or 2 as well. Another big one that we have loaned out is Barbara Rahman. Loaned him out to Schalke. Schalke actually have got the option to buy him, to sign him after this 1-year loan deal. Nathan Aki, we did loan out to Bournemouth. Another, deal that I'm not really sure why we did actually make that. I think that's a bit weird. But who knows what the thinking behind that was. And today, pretty much just before the window shut, we loaned out Christian Atsu to Newcastle to the Championship, obviously, because they got relegated last year, and Lucas Piazon just to our neighbours in Fulham, to Fulham FC. And one that I've actually forgot, someone we sold, is Papi Djilobodji for a fee of £8 million to Sunderland. Made a profit of something like £6 million off him. No idea how we managed to do that. He played 2 minutes for us, didn't touch the ball in that game against, who was it? I can't remember.
Swindon,
that's the one. No, was it Swindon?
It was Swindon. Oh, I'm certain it was Swindon.
All right, Swindon then. Well, obviously, he was loaned out to Werder Bremen for the second half of the season. He did quite well there, to be honest. But still, to make a profit to double his fee, it's quite impressive, if I'm honest. So yeah, I've run you through everything now, and I think we're going to talk about some of the loan deals and all of our signings, obviously, more in depth right now. So yeah.
So okay, let's just obviously go. It's obviously just gone through. Just got a notification on my phone. If you can't tell, BBC Sport. I've just said it, and it is official now. As soon as it's there for me, I'm the sort of person that when it all comes through on there, not Sky Sports, I'm very happy when I see it on the BBC. The geezer is back, Mr. David Luiz. Lawrence, jubilation, or are you in the balance as well?
Who would have thought we were going to sign David Luiz 2 days ago? Who would have thought? I mean, we were linked to so many defenders that I'm like, why are we even linked to those? Talking about Maximovic from Torino, Romagnoli from AC Milan. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about Koulibaly, who I think is a good player. I wouldn't have minded him. But then, in the end, it being David Luiz as our new centre-back is, quite significant. I know a lot of people are not too fond, of the signing because they think he's, a liability at the back and he's more of a defensive mid than a centre back. And also because he celebrated that goal for PSG when he and they knocked us out of the Champions League. To be honest, I was quite upset when he scored that goal and he did celebrate.
I was upset at the time, but I got over it relatively quickly. It's not. I don't understand why people are holding on to it.
And he also apologised for it.
Yeah. Well, I think there's 2 ways you could look at that. I guess you could look at it as it's his passion. So it's what comes through when you score a goal, you have that whole that one moment of madness, and obviously came out there and it's the Champions League as well. It's his club. It's his job to.
It was the last minute goal as well, so
exactly. So obviously you're going to have a bit of jubilation going on there.
So I'm quite happy with it, if I'm honest.
I'm happy with it, but the more I think about it, the more I realise why we sold him. As a centre half, he's probably the most unreliable in the world, in my opinion. In the top leagues, I just think David Luiz is so unreliable. In my personal opinion, potentially, obviously, those years at PSG could have ironed out those deficiencies and those liabilities that were in him that I'm so worried about. But I think it's always good to have a centre half who's comfortable coming out of defence and passing the ball off, but they have to obviously get back in their position. And the three at the back, that is vital. No matter if you have Kante in front of you, if he's running and starting running, pretending to be a centre forward, that's not good. I think if it was a back four, that's where it gets interesting. But for me personally, if we're doing the 4-1-4-1 system, which it seems we've been playing, I guess Luis could be potentially be used as that DM. Kante moves forward, displaces Matic, and you have Oscar and Fabregas fight it out for that other centre mid spot. But I don't know. There's big parts of me sort of feeling a little bit pessimistic, but the larger part of me is happy that one, we've signed a centre half, two, it's David Luiz, and three, he's just a nutty geezer. And it's just good to see him back.
Yeah. No, I mean, I obviously I have to agree with some of the things you said. I'm not sure if he will be used as a DM. I'm not quite sure Conte will do that, but just simply because we don't have enough centre backs to actually use them somewhere else, in my opinion. At least for now, when Kurt Zouma is still injured. I'm not sure if Antonio Conte is going to revert to a three at the back during the season. If he does, it will probably be before the start of next season, which is more likely, in my opinion. But overall, I'm happy. I think he matured quite a bit when he was at PSG. In those two Champions League games against us both years that they knocked us out, I think he was good. And we don't have some sort of kid striker and amateur striker. We have Diego Costa up front, and he was good against PSG as well. And he did well. He didn't make mistakes. I know a lot of people like to talk about the 7-1 defeat of Brazil against Germany when Thiago Silva was injured or suspended. I can't remember, and he was supposed to be leading their back line, and that clearly didn't work out. But if you want to talk about that, I don't even want to know how badly Germany would have raped England that day. So I wouldn't talk about that too much. It's a different story being at Chelsea, being in England, than being at the World Cup in your home country against Germany. That's a very different story. And also, it's 2 years ago. So I wouldn't talk about it too much. Overall, yeah, as I said, I'm happy. He's a lovely guy. He's just a cool guy.
Yeah.
Clearly has passion for the club, because apparently he himself went to the president of PSG to force the move through to plead his line, which is just something that coming back, that is something you wanna know of a player. Apparently he's sort of feeling like he wasted 2 years in that league. It's like playing FIFA on beginner's level. Apparently that's what he said. I'm not sure if that's true.
I doubt he said that, but I mean he
might have said it, not like officially, like maybe just someone.
Well, what he did say was he felt he had unfinished business at the club. That's definitely something. That's some passion there. He's a very passionate player. That you obviously saw it at the World Cup in his home country. All of that sort of stuff. You've got another character. You've got a leader in the dressing room, and if you've got someone saying, "I've got unfinished business," they're going there with a precedent. And I think that's just what we were lacking last season. We were lacking those leaders. And for me, I look at it, and it's probably too early to say. I know I was calling Gary Cahill or potentially Kurt Zouma, but that's very unlikely, as the next Chelsea captain, with a character like David Luiz in that dressing room, with the emphasis he has, the way he is, his stature, the presence that he gives off. I just think that potentially you got the next leader of Chelsea there, and he's already captained his country in the 7-1 loss to Germany. But other than that, he's sort of, David Luiz is a very, very solid player. Pocket Master in the chat has just said something very, very, he made a very good point. He said it's Conte signing. He knows what he wants him for. You just got to back him. 100% agree. 100% agree. Obviously, there's times where you've got to generate conversation about it. And that's just how I feel about David Luiz. I don't think he's a centre-half. I think he's a central midfielder because of the way he goes forward and the way he is on the ball. Like I said, it's great to have someone who can come out of defence and pass it off, but you need to have that stability as well. And I just don't think he offers that. This is my opinion. It's my opinion. I don't know if you agree, but it's sort of like I mean, if you did use him in a three back formation, I was talking to someone earlier. They actually made a very very good point. Um, Luis, if you look at what the potential Chelsea back three could be, so this is just plucking it out of the air. Everyone's fit. Zuma, Terry, David Luiz. You've got the veteran, the leader, all of that sort of stuff that organises at the back in John Terry, equivalent of Barzagli at Juventus and the Italian national team.
I think it was actually me who told you that.
Was it you?
I think so.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
okay,
go
yeah,
on.
okay, yeah. So you got sorry if it was you. Started stealing your point. So you got Terry, who's almost Barzagli. You've got Zuma, which is basically just a monster. He is. Let's
like
be honest.
Chiellini a bit.
He's just a man mountain. Chiellini, just an absolute beast. Zuma replicates him. David Luiz, solid defender, loosely used term. And I want to see it again before I say that. Everyone knows what I'm like. So solid defender, can pass balls from the back, start attacks from the back with his passing. Bonucci.
Exactly.
So it was you that told me this, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
there you go. Okay, you elaborate on what you were saying then, because it was you.
Yeah, no. Well, you pretty much said everything. But yeah, the only thing is what the guy in the chat said about it being a Antonio Conte signing. Yes, of course it is, but that wasn't a deadline day. So you know, I'm pretty sure he would have preferred someone like Bonucci, who we tried to get very early on in the transfer window. That was like a last minute deal. I mean, we obviously don't know how long we've been in contact with PSG about that, and it was just yesterday that David Luiz tried to force a move through. But you know, I think it was an option that Antonio Conte obviously likes. Otherwise, he wouldn't have signed him. But I think there was other players that he would have preferred. So even though it is an Antonio Conte signing, it's not like Kante and maybe Batshuayi that he was like, yeah, I want them, I want him, and I want him. You know, I'm pretty sure Antonio Conte didn't join the club and told them like, yeah, I want David Luiz. You know what I mean? So but yeah, no, I think there is a potential of playing three at the back, whether that is during this season or which I think is more likely to happen at the start of next season. You know, obviously, probably not anymore with John Terry in the starting 11. If in the squad, I don't know. Let's hope so. Or if he retires, we'll see. But maybe next year there's definitely potential to use three at the back with David Luiz and Kurt Zuma. And yeah, as you said, you know, we still have to wait and see how well he does in the Premier League now. If Antonio Conte, I think Antonio Conte is one of the managers that if there's someone out there that can get those like unconcentration moments out of him, I think it's Antonio Conte. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The guys are probably, I think, from what I've heard about him from Italian fans, when I've seen from him and heard about him from Italian football aficionados, so people who like Italian football, I would say aficionados. And obviously I've spoken to the odd Italian journalist about Antonio Conte. He is probably in the league the best man manager, and he knows how to get the most out of his players. And like you're saying, if anyone can get those frailties out of David Luiz, it will be him. But obviously, we've spoken about David Luiz in depth. We'll obviously make another video on David Luiz. I think we'll do that another time. Just sort of going through the big transfer, how it affects the team, potentially sort of making a little thing going on about it. But another thing, another signing, which obviously has been pushed out of the limelight despite us having and being linked with him for the past couple of weeks or so. Marcos Alonso signed from Fiorentina for a bid and a sum for around £23 million. This is for me another transfer which I feel just reinforces the three back formation, because this guy has got height, he works hard, he's really good going forward. Best creativity for a defender, I think it's or something he got for Serie A last season.
No idea.
Yeah, no idea. I read that somewhere. He goes backwards and forwards. Played in a three back formation before. I just think this is Conte just moving us into that direction because this is the formation he prefers to use.
Mm.
Seems like it will be a longer process.
Yeah.
But like you said, lining out Aki, you weren't sure. I feel a big thing for signing this guy might mean, even though Aspilicueta now will probably move over to the right hand side in a 4-back formation, which is great. What is going to happen to the likes of Nathan Ake or Ola Aina in terms of the pecking order and how much they play at Chelsea Football Club? What do you reckon?
Well, I mean, the thing why we can't play 3-5-2 at the moment is because we only have 2 actual strikers. I know we have Solanke at the club and Ruben Loftus-Cheek is being used as a striker at the moment, but still we can't play 2 strikers up front right now because we only have 2. So you just can't do it. But yeah, no, I definitely agree. He could. I mean, I say I agree. I don't know too much about Marcos Alonso. I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen him play. So all I know about him is from reading stats that I've seen online. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he could do quite well as a left wing back. Where that leaves Aina, Nathan Ake, who's actually apparently been training as a centre mid or a holding mid at Bournemouth, and he also hasn't played a game yet, which is a bit weird. I'm not sure if he came on, but he hasn't started a game anyway. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not even 100% sure if Marcos Alonso will replace Ivanovic in the team straight away. It might take 1, 2, 3 months. I really don't know. I'm not sure what the thinking behind that for Antonio Conte is. I mean, he has been in this league before, back with Bolton and also with Sunderland. So he does know the league a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I do hope that he comes in straight away.
Well, I saw an interesting fact, we're in a little thing on Facebook. Saw quite an interesting thing put in there earlier. And when he was considered a Sunderland reject, he was actually one of the best for some stats in the Premier League in terms of defensive stats. And the guy clearly, like you said, he knows his way around already. If he's strong going forward, he understands the Italian style of football. He's strong defending wise. He's got decent creativity. He can probably overlap. Where Aspilicueta is so strong defensively and goes forward and isn't like that doesn't have the most profound impact, but is still, relatively good. This guy seems like he's very, very good going forward and fairly solid at the back. So basically, they almost counteract each other. They balance each other out. With Zuma potentially coming back, apparently I've heard end of September. So in a month, we're going to have Kurt Zuma back. And then obviously we've got David Luiz, John Terry. Ivanovic is probably going to move into the middle if this guy does instantly displace him, which I potentially could, because like you've said, he has Premier League experience. Or it could take 1 or 2 months, exactly like you've said. We've now basically sorted that entire back line with we've made 2 signings, but with 1 signing, we could have just completely altered that back line. But obviously, we brought in Luiz to make it stronger. And I guess he's 28, 29, David Luiz. So it is almost a short-term signing as well as a long-term one as a potential replacement. But, this is a strong back line now, I think. And I think this guy could potentially be such a great signing for us. I mean, people were saying for him, because he was Fiorentina or because he was Sunderland or Bolton beforehand. He's not good enough quality for us. Where did we sign Aspilicueta from?
Marseille, wasn't it?
Yep, exactly. So there are these hidden gems in all these leagues, and if you can pick one of those out and go,
yeah. I mean, did he cut out, or is my internet? No, not working. Anyway, I'm just going to try to speak. And I lost my point. Yeah, what I wanted to say is the only thing, signings from Fiorentina haven't really worked out that well so far. With Mohamed Salah and Juan Cuadrado, they haven't worked out too well, if we're honest.
That's true.
I don't know. Obviously, being a defensive player is very different to being an attacking player like Mohamed Salah and Juan Cuadrado. But, players from Fiorentina haven't worked out that well over the recent history. But, let's hope that is not true. Louis, why are you waving?
Oh, you cut out, mate. I couldn't tell what was going on. But yeah, hold on. You still there? Can you move? Can you
Yeah,
do
no,
it?
I can move.
Can you do it like hand of Spock or something? Just something to tell me you're there.
Right, go on.
There you go. Yeah, cool. Why did I say hand of Spock? Because I saw you doing that. Whatever. But yeah, okay. Yeah, but that's a very valid point. That's very true. Okay, so that's our deadline day. Signing's done. Apart from one out, which I found a bit interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you. A 3-year loan deal for Juan Cuadrado with loads of different things. It's like being tied down to a mobile phone contract with this guy. I think I'd rather just get my unlimited data and stuff from EE or something stupid like that. But
It's just weird, isn't it? Like they gave us they're giving us over the 3 years, £20 million to have him on a 3-year loan. We pretty much just sold him for £20 million because his contract at Chelsea expires after those 3 years anyway. So unless we extend his contract, which I very much doubt, we've seen the last of Juan Cuadrado at Chelsea. And I know a lot of players think he's so much better than, for example, Pedro or something, but it's now been 2 managers that haven't liked him. It's not just Mourinho; it's also Conte now. That clearly hasn't liked him, because otherwise we wouldn't have got rid of him. So I don't know what it is about him, because I think he has a lot of qualities to his game that would suit us very well at times. Maybe not being a starter, but being an impact sub, I think he could be quite good. But surely there must be something in training, whether that's his attitude or I don't know what else it could be. But there has to be something that both Mourinho and Conte didn't and don't like. So,
well, Conte was supposed to be one of those was the manager which absolutely loves Cuadrado.
yeah,
Maybe he just doesn't fit the Premier League.
yeah.
Maybe
I mean,
Conte's
he had a look at him for the whole of pre-season. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? But is there anything else you want to talk about? Any other transfers which you've been a bit interested by?
yeah, I mean, what I think we should talk about quickly is why we loaned our Bertrand Traoré to Ajax.
Yes,
because we only have 2 actual strikers. Like I mentioned, we have Solanke at the club. We kept him, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek is being used as a striker right now. But if Diego Costa is injured or suspended, which if we're honest, is going to happen. He's already on 2 yellow cards after 3 games, so and he should have been sent off in both, if we're honest. But why exactly we loaned out Bertrand Traoré? I'm not sure. I mean, of course, he wants to get playing time, and also we want him to get playing time to improve even more and even quicker. But if that was like down to him and his decision, saying he wants to go on loan to get more experience and stuff, if you're at Chelsea, you can't expect to play every week at his age, at 20 or 21 or wherever he is. If you've got Diego Costa in front of you, you just can't expect that. But I think right now, I'm not sure if we expected to sign Lukaku, or I don't know who else we were in for, but I'm not quite sure why exactly we loaned out Traoré. I think it's a bit weird.
I agree. I think, like you said, we will now only have 2 strikers, so we can only afford to play one system. I guess you could use Hazard as a striker, like you said. The cheeks already been used up there, so you kind of got 4 strike.
I mean,
excuse
of
me,
course,
you got 4 strikers there already, but I just feel that he was so good last season, and I don't know whether it's because he. I don't know if it's because we were having such a terrible season and we've gone, "Oh, I like this guy. He's really good." Let's be honest, he did look really sharp, and I think it was stupid to loan him out unless 1, we had a replacement lined up, or 2, just loaning out an excess of players. I think we now have 40 players lined out or something stupid, and it just doesn't feel right.
The weird thing about for me personally, I always felt last season, even though he did score that great goal against Stoke at home when he started the game as striker, I always felt he's not really a striker, especially not to start a game up front on his own. He's just not big enough. He's not strong enough. I mean, I know Aguero isn't the biggest and strongest player, and he's the best striker in the league, but still, Traoré to me looked like a way better winger. I remember we played, I think it was Southampton away, when we got the late winner. I might be wrong. It might have been someone else. Anyway, he started that game on the wing, and he played a lot better, even though he didn't score like he did the game later when he started a striker against Stoke. But I think he played a lot better. But if we use 2 strikers up front, I think Traoré could be a great striker. Get the ball laid off by Diego or Batshuayi, and then run at the ball with his pace and with his dribbling skills that he definitely has got. So, to play two strikers up front, he would have been very good. To play him on his own up front, not
sure.
really.
Yeah.
But to have him in the squad as a backup if we need him, due to suspensions and injuries, as I said, don't get him. Why we loaned him out?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's exactly it. But anyway, for me, it is 1:45. So I've been up all day keeping up with transfers. Lawrence, you're an hour ahead of me, so it's 1:45 for you in the morning. So thank you very, very much for staying up and obviously coming on the stream and keeping up with everything today. So we are going to go and get a good night's rest like we both deserve. Obviously, you guys who stay up and watch Transfer Deadline Day and all the transfers that are going on, let us know on the Facebook page, let us know on the Twitter, let us know everything you've thought about all these transfers. It's definitely something worth for all of us discussing. But I can't get my words out. I'm that tired. But anyway, this has been Daily Blues, 100% Chelsea transfer stream. This probably, I won't lie to you now, this is probably going to be a one-off. I feel, because even though the stream's really good for just having quick discussion setting up, I feel there's a lot of them on this channel, and I feel maybe it's nice to change it up every so often and just sort of have different stuff going on. So we might be doing more of these, we might not be. So don't panic. There's definitely going to be more videos and all of that sort of stuff. But anyway, thank you for watching Daily Brew. Subscribe to 100% Chelsea. All social media links are down in the description below for Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And Lawrence, again, thank you so much for coming on, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Had a laugh, and it was a decent deadline day. At least I didn't expect it to be good, but yeah, up to Chelsea.
Yeah, but anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys, and take care. And we will see you very, very soon.